Well, hello everyone. This is John Byrne with Poets and Quants. Welcome to our center court session on a unique degree. It's a Master of Management in Energy. It's from Tulane University's Freeman School of Business. And to talk about the program and get into the nitty-gritty of it, we have two guests today. Brandon Garza, the Associate Director of Recruitment Operations, and J.W. Cornwell, who is a current student in the program who will graduate in December of this year. So, Brandon, let's start with you. Give us a little brief intro on the program and what it's all about.
Yeah, absolutely. So the Masters of Management in Energy, also known as the MME program here at Tulane University, is one of our full-time MBA master's programs that is specialized and STEM designated, that is really designed to equip students with technical and business skills in order for them to be successful in the energy industry. It's really a fabulous program that has a lot of different opportunities for our students.
How long has it been around?
It's been around since I think 2011.
Yeah, because I mean, this is a program that is not widely available. I mean, your location makes it like this is in your wheelhouse. And I wonder if you might say, what would be a differentiator for the program? What makes it stand out?
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the key differentiators of our MME program here at Tulane is definitely its curriculum. It's definitely got a curriculum that is industry driven and market driven, and that is also backed by our Tulane Institute of Energy. So our Tulane Institute of Energy has over like 35 board of directors from leading energy companies that work with our faculty here at Tulane to create the next step of influential classes that are going to be taught to our students to give them the best skill sets needed to be successful in, all areas of business from oil and gas, renewables, even energy finance. And then plus on top of that, our students really get to focus on experiential learning. And so we do a lot of that here at Freeman. So our students can either participate in certain projects that are working with our companies here in the city. Maybe they're doing energy trading simulations in our stock trading room. They even get opportunities to do field trips here in the city. Maybe they're visiting a shipyard. Maybe they're getting to go do visit it at the liquid natural gas plant. Maybe they're even getting to sit in control rooms of nuclear power plants. It's really crazy and cool what kind of opportunities our students get to take part of. And then, of course, the location. We're in New Orleans, Louisiana, right near the Gulf of Mexico. So Tulane
Totally.
deep connections really are a great differentiator for our students in the program in terms of networking and career opportunities.
Yeah, because I'm thinking the alignment that you have with that many companies in this industry in that area makes it an ideal platform to get an internship and to land a full-time job.
Absolutely. And I think JW is actually doing that right now.
Yeah, and we're going to get into that soon. I also wonder, from your perspective, this program is best suited for who? Is it a career switcher? Is it someone who's already in the industry? Is it someone who wants to get into a segment of this industry and is in a different segment? Who's best suited for it?
So it's really suited for anyone who has a desire and a strong interest in the energy sector and who wants to develop a deep combination of skill sets from technical, analytical, or business all in one. And so the program, it really does attract people from all types of backgrounds, educational backgrounds in engineering, economics, um, even finance, environmental sciences, but it's really beneficial for those who really have a quantitative aptitude and an interest in, really understanding and learning about energy markets, energy finance, and trading. It's really beneficial for those types of students.
Now, is it a pre-experience program, meaning you don't have to have work experience to enter it?
While you don't necessarily need to have work experience, we do recommend, maybe having a year or two. That's going to help, better facilitate your experience in the classroom and with your peers.
Right. Now, it looks to me, JW, that you pursued this degree to make a career change. You had been a financial analyst. Your major in undergrad was econ. You have an interest in the renewable energy field. Am I right on that?
Yeah, correct. I had been, in my career for about 8 or 9 years before I decided I wanted to go back to graduate school, working primarily in software as a service firms. So pretty standard playbook across that suite. You can pretty much enter any firm as a financial analyst, and acronyms change and products change, but the general business formula is pretty much the same across all businesses.
Yeah.
And so I kind of had done that for a while and was sort of meditating on what I wanted to do in my life and who I was, really asking myself a lot of personal questions about, who I am, what do I want to do? If I could do whatever I wanted, what would it be? Um, and a lot of that focus, a lot of the answers that came out of those questions was I'm an outdoors lover. I'm a lover of the outdoors. I love skiing, camping, fishing, hiking, playing golf. I'm happiest when I'm outside. And so that sort of naturally led me to the conclusion that, well, climate change is a threat to those activities, right? And maybe I should be working in an area where I can sort of combat that and then also guarantee that future generations can do those things too. And so that's sort of how I settled on interest in renewables.
Yeah. Now, I'm imagining that given the amount of work experience you already had,
Mhm.
that you may have considered an MBA, did you?
I did. I did. I looked at a number of different programs, and actually, how I found Tulane's program specifically was I had just finished completing my CMA, Certified Management Accountant certification. I was talking about that with a friend of mine, one of my fraternity brother's wife, actually, and she is a professor of accounting at Freeman, and so. I was talking to her about that, about the process of getting my CMA, why didn't I get the CPA, things like that. And then I also mentioned I was looking to sort of make this career switch. And she said, we have like the exact program for that. And I was like, really? And so she said, yeah, go check out our MME page. It's a targeted master's program. And I think, it might be valuable to you. And so, I came on a visit, I sat in on some classes. And so I decided, you know what, I think this is the place for me.
That's great. That's a great serendipity.
Hmm.
So what's the learning experience been like? You're almost through the entire program. You only have 2 months to go.
Correct. Yeah, I have two classes left, but the learning experience is really wholesome. As Brandon mentioned, it's extremely data and technical driven. There's a lot of value that the program offers in a variety of different classes. You do have a core of classes that you take that are energy specific, so learning about markets, modeling, just the energy economy that exists here in the U.S. and globally. It's a really broad, type of learning, but it is hyper focused, right? They want you to have the hard skills that employers are looking for, and those are placed in high emphasis in a lot of the classes.
What's your favorite class so far?
I'll have to pick two because there's been more than one.
That's
In
great.
the first fall, we take a energy fundamentals and trading class, and that one was especially interesting because coming into this program, the only sort of thing I knew about energy was you flip the switch, the lights come on, you put gas in your car, it'll go. That's about pay your bill on time or else they'll shut it off, kind of thing. Um, and so that really opened my eyes to sort of the breadth and depth of what we have as an energy economy. And how does that actually work? How do, people trade oil? How do people trade gas, renewable energy credits? Things that I just had never thought about before. So that one really opened my eyes to a lot of, what's out there. And then the second is a course that I'm actually in right now. It's a renewable project development and finance course. And this one's definitely amazing. It aligns very closely with what my career goals are. And so really learning all the ins and outs of how do I build a solar field? How do I finance a solar field? It's giving me, basically a playbook to go to interviews with to say, hey, I know more than the average recent graduate about this stuff, and I'm willing to be, I can be a quick asset for, whomever I end up working for. It's really, really interesting stuff.
Now, you went back to school 10 years after you graduated from Emory with your econ degree.
Mhm.
How was the transition back to study mode?
It was definitely a little bit of a transition. I feel like, having worked a little bit, I've developed a little bit better of a work ethic and diligence through just having a career, and that's definitely aided me in my schoolwork and studies. Also learning how to, work on a team. I've done a lot of that in my career, and so that's definitely been beneficial. As you know, typical business school style of learning is here at Tulane, where you do a lot of casework and you do a lot of group work, things that require you to, you know, to manage yourself, but also manage, you know, relationships with people who you're working with. So it's a little bit of a transition. Just you know, there's not quite the 9 to 5 grind anymore, but maybe a little more late nights sometimes.
Right. Now, Brandon, what kind of jobs do people get out of this program?
So the different types of jobs that our graduates go on and get after this program is it's quite wide. And the reasoning is that is because while the energy program here at Tulane, while we do focus a lot on, you know, traditional oil and gas, renewables, all sorts of different types of energy, you know, why energy, managing energy, trading it, it also has a huge finance component to it. And so graduates from this program can actually go into many different industries and work in. From our last, I have actually some numbers and stuff right here. From our last graduating class, we have people who are, you know, now energy analysts. They are energy investment banking analysts, investment analysts, valuation consultants. So there is a wide variety of different types of positions that students are getting after graduating. Of course, working with great companies like Byrne, BP, Marathon. But of course, again, emphasizing that even just doing the energy program here at Tulane is not going to just limit you only to energy specific jobs. You know, a lot of different technical, analytical, and business skill sets are kind of developed and equipped once you get into this program.
Right. And you mentioned Bernhard, and of course, I should mention that JW is a renewable energy intern at the company in New Orleans. Is that a opportunity you got through the program?
It is, yeah. One thing that has really stood out for me across, you know, my whole experience at Freeman and the MME program is really the massive network that you are connected to in terms of, you know, people who are on the board of the Energy Institute, or people who are guest speakers in your classes, or your professors even. They have a vast array of connections that, you know, if you have a particular interest in something that you're, you know, in a particular class in, you can talk to the professor whenever you want and say, hey, look, I'm interested to learn more about this. Is there somebody who you might know that I could speak to, you know, to find out a little more detail? And they're more than happy to connect you with industry professionals that they know.
So, if you were to look back on the experience so far and identify some key highlights of the program, what would they be?
Oh, Brandon mentioned it earlier, but the site visits were really, really cool. So
Mhm.
on your first semester, it's a summer start. You come in and then you do 2 classes in the summer, and as part of one of those classes, you go on a number of site visits to, you know, various energy locales around New Orleans. We went to a liquefied natural gas plant and shipping facility. That was fascinating. The scale of a place like that, you really can't even imagine it. It's huge, and they tell you, you know, everything that there is to know about what they do there, right? And how do they impact global markets and, you know, everything else. We go to a nuclear site, sitting in the control room, seeing exactly, you know, what they're doing, asking them what their day-to-day life is like. If I wanted to be
Mm.
working in a nuclear site, what might that look like, right? What kind of schedule do you work on? What do you have to pay close attention to, right? So you get a really good preview of sort of the skill sets that a lot of these companies are looking for. And then also, you know, it helps you pick and choose sort of what you're interested in, you know, in the energy space. Additionally, living in New Orleans, it's been amazing. It's such a cool city, you know, an incredible culture that's unlike anywhere else in America. Food's incredible. Weather's a little hot in the summer, but other than that, it's pretty balmy and nice year round. I can play golf pretty much whenever I want, which is great. Classes notwithstanding. But yeah, it's been a really amazing experience. So I'd say the site visits for sure, and just the setting, really. It's a great place to go to school.
Now, what surprised you most about the program, JW?
Surprised me the most, I'd probably say the specialty of knowledge, right? Coming in, having no energy knowledge, or, you know, extremely little energy knowledge. Again, it's really easy just to kind of get caught up in, you know, your little bubble of, you know, whenever you have a job, you're like, okay, I got my little checklist for today, and that's all I'm doing, and that's all I'm focused on. What's really helped in this program is really the global and sort of environmental, you know, impact that the learning has on you, right? So you're learning, hey, if I do become a renewable energy developer, here's what my day-to-day might look like, but here's how that also fits into the broader energy economy, right? So if there's a change in policy that impacts renewables, what might that do to the gas markets, for instance? Or what might that do to oil shipping? There's all kinds of, impacts that happen across, any event. And so one of the things that I was surprised to learn about and really sort of turned my brain on a lot was thinking about, okay, how do all these things impact, or how does one small impact ripple out through the broader US and global economy?
Right. Exactly. Now, Brandon, I wonder what the application process is like and what the size of the incoming cohort is typically,
Mhm.
and when the start and the finish of the program.
So the start and of the program can actually vary depending on our applicants and how fast they want to do the program. So let's start with that. So first, the program now starts in the fall semester and can be completed in 2 semesters. You can complete the program in fall and spring and be done. You got the program finished. It's done. It's yours. For those who want to kind of extend the program and do an internship, that's also an option now too. So you can complete it in 3 semesters. You can do a fall, spring, and then do a summer internship with us in connections with our CMC, our Career Management Center, and then finish out the program that following fall. But for the application process, it's quite simple. We definitely always recommend first speaking and getting connected with us here at admissions, having maybe a one-on-one information session with us so we can get to better know you, get to better know your interests, your skill sets, and where you actually see your career in the future. So that can help us better help you with making a stronger application for the admissions committee, and even connecting you early with the CMC, our Career Management Center, to kind of find out what jobs and industries might be hiring and available for what you're looking for. But with its typical application components once you meet with us. But again, before you start the application process, I want to emphasize the importance of researching the program and getting to know the program a little bit better. There's also opportunities to, like JW said, come have a campus class visit with us. We have something called like the Tulane test drive, which actually allows our students who are just getting started and interested in the program to come meet with us here at admissions. We'll take you to meet the Career Management Center here. We'll do a tour of our business complex, and then we'll actually sit you in a class, meet the professor, and kind of see what really happens and goes on here at the Freeman School of Business. So it's a great opportunity to kind of get that experience firsthand before you even start the application. But what students will notice is that we do keep our cohorts nice and small. So the typical average classroom is 15 to 20 students in a class. So
So everybody knows everybody.
it really does build a great opportunity for you not to only get to know your peers, but the professors really get to know you, and you really do build really deep, strong connections with everyone here on campus and outside of campus.
So JW, what are your classmates like?
Well, I mean, it's a pretty wide range of folks that have come in. I've had a classmate who was in their 40s. I had a classmate who was just out of undergrad. So it really depends kind of on, who you are. But, there's a wide range of personalities and interests, right? We have people who do oil and gas trading, power trading. People have really serious interest in renewables here as well, just like myself. But on the whole, I'd say it's a pretty diverse group of folks. We even have some international students now. So you really get all kinds of folks coming in, and it's a really healthy, fun environment that you can, learn in.
Now, Brandon, do you require a standardized test score, or do you waive that, or what?
So our typical application does have a GRE and GMAT requirement, but we do definitely have waivers available for qualified applicants. And typically those are those who have certain professional experience or have, done a STEM designated undergraduate degree or have experience with quantitative courses in their undergraduate. Always recommend speaking with your admissions counselor first, and they can help you kind of see if you meet that parameter. But if you do believe you meet that parameter for the GRE or GMAT test score requirement, you can always select that in our application, and then those cases will be reviewed on a case-by-case basis.
Now, JW, I wonder if there was something you wish you had known before you started the program that you now know since you've almost completed it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a relatively conscientious person. You know, I work hard regardless of where I'm at, whether it's work or school or, you know, what have you. I'd say it's important to always remember to do that, right? Regardless of where you are. I definitely think it would have been helpful for me to focus a little bit more on my networking. You know, I have a couple good options available now. I have an internship that, you know, is turning into a full-time offer, which is great. But, you know, the saying you got to network to get work has really never been more true. And you know, everybody says it, but you know, really placing a lot of emphasis on that in your own career search is something that's critically important. You know, even though we do have such a good network and you know people available to talk to, it really is important for you to put in the work on an individual level, right? No one's just going to hand you a job. You gotta really make sure you put in your hours on, you know, finding out not only what you're interested in, but then how to break into it.
That's great advice. What other advice would you have for someone who's thinking about doing a program like this? Uh,
Um,
yeah,
I would say you should definitely do a little bit of pre-research, you know, like it helps to come in with a bit of an idea, and that might change, right? You know, as you learn, right? Like I said, you learn so much about the energy economy, about different technologies and financing and all those kinds of things. You know, so what you come in with might be different by the time you leave. But definitely doing a little bit of research ahead of time, you know, subscribe to some podcasts, you know, get some newsletters, get some information that you're you know can really confirm or deny you know what it is you're interested ahead of time so that when you do get here you can hit the ground running and you can
right.
apply yourself in the direction that you want to go.
Yeah. And Brandon, in all the years you've been associated with the program, I wonder in general, separate from what JW said earlier, what do the graduates actually think most resonated with them throughout the course of the program?
I think it is how this program really does kind of dive into energy in different ways. While it's not only technical and analytical, it's also touching on energy policy and what happens when certain things and laws are in place that affect business decision-making skills. Like Jake
Right,
kind of said before, you know, visiting certain plants and figuring out, okay, this policy is now in effect, kind of taking that knowledge back to the classroom. So you kind of
hmm
get the lecture experience with the hands-on experience, and now you can kind of mold those two things together. And it's kind of taking away those experiences. You know, certain things, certain changes are going to happen in the world, and those are going to affect business decisions. And so do you have the skill sets and knowledge to react appropriately? Do you have the analytical skills if you're doing analytical work? The knowledge and skill sets to put together the right data so that your bosses and your leaders can actually make informed decisions based on what you're giving them. So I think it's a combination of putting together the lecture experiences and the great connections you're going to make with your professors and business leaders with the actual hands-on experiences that you're going to get through our experiential learning components that are going to kind of set us apart and kind of resonate with the students most.
And I think this is an exciting time for the industry. I mean, it's in a transition mode
It is.
to alternative renewable energy. It's probably going to be a difficult transition for a lot of companies, and that makes for a lot of opportunity for smart, well-trained people. And I'm thinking, you know, JW, that may have been in the back of your mind, in addition to your outdoor mindset and your need to protect the environment.
100%. Yeah. You know, it is a growing industry. It's a place where I can sort of grow immensely as the industry grows, right? So that was definitely a thing I was thinking about as well, right? Knowing that I was doing something good for myself, something that would allow me to put my head down at night and sleep fine. And then additionally, you know, something that's going to be a little bit future proof, really, something that I know there's going to be opportunity, you know, for the long haul.
Right. Now, people who are interested in the program, Tulane has a great website and they have really a lot of good detail on this program. But Brandon, if someone wanted to get in touch with you or a member of your staff and ask some questions, how would they do that?
Absolutely. So on our Masters of Management and Energy website, there is a link directly on there to book an appointment if you want to go that route. If you just want to simply email us directly at abfadmit@tulane.edu, they can easily send us an email and we will get you connected with an admissions counselor right away. Or if they want to give us a phone call, 504-865-5410. And then we'll also book you an appointment with an admissions counselor or come visit us in person. We can do building tours. Again, like, you can do a class visit. There's all types of ways to get connected and see if this program's right for you.
Yeah, and if you're going to invest the time and the money in this and you're really diligent about it, you should visit the campus. You should talk to students like
Absolutely.
JW, maybe even talk to an alum or two who's
Mhm.
doing exactly what you want to do in the future when you graduate, and sit down with a faculty member,
Yeah,
because I'm sure they're going to be really engaged and friendly, welcoming to
absolutely.
you. And while you're there, go for a beignet and some chicory coffee, and listen to some music in New Orleans because music is a thing there, in
Oh
addition to
yeah,
energy.
we are one streetcar away from downtown.
Absolutely. I've been to your campus. It's a beautiful building that you have and great location. So, hey, thank you so much for all the insights. I think we learned a lot about the program and what it can do for people. And like I said before, Master's in Management at Business Schools in Energy is not a common degree. It's often associated with schools that are located, obviously, where the energy industry is dominant. This is one of the best, so check it out. Brandon and JW, it's been a pleasure.
Thank you so
Thanks so
much.
much. Appreciate it.
And for all of you out there, thanks for watching. This is John Byrne with Poets and Quants.